Hey everyone, I'm Charting Man Dan with the chart, guys. I've been trading the last 13 million years. We're going to check in on the broader market now with a lot to talk about in regards to cryptocurrency stocks, cannabis stocks, broader market semiconductors. Let's get going and quit wasting time. All right, so SPY has daily consolidation underway. We've been in a clear daily uptrend for over a month at this point, and we can say that anything above 5, 11, 12 keeps that daily uptrend going. You can see that there's very small ranges the last 3 days. I'd probably say that that is the smallest 3-day range. We can compare it back to here. Bull move, bull flag. So still a possible bull flag at this point, but low volume, very tight range. So that means I have to seek out volatility elsewhere in these smaller subsectors that we're going to talk about if I want day trading volatility, because anything that's tracking the S&P 500 closely, there's not enough volatility to be day trading in any kind of meaningful way, in my opinion. Again, it's, if I'm a day trader, I want my pie to be this big. So if I get my piece, my slice, it's that big, as opposed to the pie being this big and my slice is that big. It's a very different game depending on how much range you have to work with on a given day. So the NASDAQ also looking for a daily high or low. Again, no major red flags on this pullback. We did hit an all-time high with no follow through, so we want to make note of that. But as far as the retracement here, it's still a possible bull flag here as well. And so watching into tomorrow, the bulls will have to shape up an hourly uptrend. I'm viewing this as all the same bounce. And we need to hold the low today and break the high today tomorrow for the daily high or low to be set. It's still the semiconductor show right now. And I'm definitely watching the similarities. I mean, the relationships, again, correlations come and go. And for me as a full-time trader right now, I'm watching a relationship where we've got semiconductors and Bitcoin doing very similar things. I made speculation about a month ago saying the next time we see weekly consolidation, I would not be surprised at all for semiconductors and Bitcoin to be doing it at the same time. And now we have weekly bull flags shaping up in both of those places as well. Another relationship I'm noticing is an inverse relationship between cannabis and Bitcoin. When Bitcoin's seeing a couple weeks of consolidation, cannabis seeing a couple weeks of bounce. Now a big green day in crypto and a big red day in cannabis. And it's been happening enough over the last 6 weeks or so that I'm definitely paying attention to that inverse correlation as well. So semiconductors, again, just fine. Bulls need to confirm a daily uptrend. It was a daily downtrend with no follow through. The weekly consolidation is a bull flag attempt, but bulls do want to see that higher low and higher high to be back in the driver's seat. So some pretty healthy consolidation at the moment over the past couple of days. But when you look at these individual names, SMCI up 7% today, its weekly chart, no red flags. You go straight up, you pull back and fill a gap, no red flags. It's a weekly inside bar. ARM we've been covering for a long time. Its weekly high or low is already set. I'm watching for the possibility. If we go to the 2-day time frame on ARM, I'm viewing this as an equilibrium. So we'll have to see how this plays out, but it's a nice 2-day equilibrium on ARM. We know MU has been strong on its earnings reaction. Lead bull today with major follow through, trying to make its way. Nope, we are at all-time highs. It just took a long time to get there. AMD is one of the weaker names right now in semiconductors. It's looking for a weekly high or low as well, but I'm going to be watching for the possibility of a head and shoulders on AMD. NVDA, of course, Big Daddy still holding on. Didn't even start weekly consolidation. That's how strong it is. Knocking on the door of the all-time high today. Watching 1,000 psychological. And all the semiconductors. That's all I'm tracking. So out of just that quick rundown, we know AMD is the weakest. NVDA I would call the strongest. And other than that, definitely everything in between. But overall, strong and looking for weekly bull flags in many of those names. Bitcoin is a weekly bull flag, testing all-time highs again very quickly. And still a few percent away, but a big day for Bitcoin bulls. And so again, just watching how long are they going to trade similarly to each other? And that remains to be seen. But, a little week of consolidation to start the year, straight up, couple weeks of consolidation just now on SMH. And Bitcoin, same thing. Weekly consolidation to start the year, a little bit more. Straight up, bull flag attempt. Keep an eye on that relationship. There's some clues. Semiconductors started weekly consolidation about 4 or 5 days before Bitcoin started weekly consolidation. Crypto stocks. So let's just do the same thing that we just did with semiconductors. I want to determine relative strength and relative weakness. So coin, weekly bull flag already confirmed, higher highs. Good sign, that's showing some strength. Riot, or let's go MSTR. So coin and MSTR are in their own little world as far as not being miners. Weekly bull flag confirmed on MSTR. Definitely still a short squeeze going on there as far as the strength. And again, anything hitting a new higher high before Bitcoin, we got relative strength against Bitcoin as well. So coin and MSTR, nice and strong. Miners, Riot, way weaker. This is a forever equilibrium right now, many months. And just watching this to continue tightening up. We are looking for a weekly bounce to follow through a bit, especially if Bitcoin gets all-time highs. But keep in mind that we can go 50% from here and still not be breaking weekly resistance, maybe 40%, 45%. So we got a long way to go. So overall weaker. Today was up 9%. It was in line with other names, but overall it's weaker. MARA is weakening. So MARA today was flat. There was a downgrade. This for me is a red flag. I've got an MARA swing position from back here. It was a day trade where I just kept a runner. And, you know, in hindsight, it's the kind of thing where I'm focusing on cannabis, day trading every single day. That's my main focus. And, you know, I'll grab some MARA. And now, you know, well, should have been CLSK. That was me defaulting to a name that I am, you know, I've traded MARA with a ton of money in both directions over the last 6 months. And it's just ingrained. I'm very familiar with it. And so because it was my secondary focus and I'm focused over here, just, all right, yeah, grab that, comfortable, good to go. When in reality, nah, I should have been grabbing this new name for me as far as, you know, I've probably actively traded CLSK 3% as much as MARA. But this base of support was beautiful. It's up 20% today. It's definitely a bit more volatile, but hitting that higher high, weekly bull flag confirmed. And so joining coin and MSTR on the stronger side of things. So those three are stronger. CLSK, clearly the strongest miner that I watch. Riot and MARA, way weaker, bigger picture. MARA, the weakest today. And so, you know, is MARA going to start to be that a hedge again that stays weaker? And, you know, bulls are long on all these other names that are stronger and shorting MARA as a hedge. That remains to be seen. Today was just one day, but it's definitely getting my attention as far as the amount of weakness today. And CLSK, I'm going to be watching for an hourly higher low from here. Next major resistance, 2360, which we cleared. But if we can clear that more convincingly, things open up. As far as, you know, not a ton of resistance right there. And so again, you know, now it's just a question of, is Bitcoin going to chill out a bit and tighten up from here? There's a lot of people that want entries in Bitcoin still. From missing, you know, this pullback, at least those that I'm talking to. But anyways, there's strength there. Cannabis. So I'm going to be referencing the weekend video. And in the weekend video, talked about if we do not break the high of Friday on Monday, we're going to look for a pullback. We know that pullbacks can easily be 10 to 20% with the volatility in this sector. And so CGC opens at the high of Friday and instantly dumps. As soon as that dump starts, bulls are taking profit and bears are jumping in short and putting their stop at 801. And we followed through significantly. And there were no shares to short, at least on Fidelity, but played a couple bounces on the way down. You know, the bears had control the majority of the day, but there's so much volatility that, you know, that's a 16% bounce. And even here, 10% plus bounce. So I had a pretty good day playing some bounces here. You know, was wrong a time or two where I stopped out break even, but able to capitalize enough to have a decent little day there. But overall, the question now is this time different? And the only way this time is going to be different is if daily consolidation leads to a higher low and a higher high. Because in the past, these fast, hard moves, they top and that's it. They top and that's it. There's no trend change. The momentum stops and the party's over. So bulls have to prove that this time is different. And obviously a headline would do that, but in the absence of a headline, you know, I'm going to be looking for a bounce on the hourly in the short term, but there's tons of space for an hourly lower high and bears are going to be waiting for it. I will be interested in a potential hourly oversold bounce, but again, I'm just locking in my gains, playing bounces in the short term. I'm just going back to last time. Curious, hourly oversold from here. Nah, didn't have a good bounce. Bulls have to prove it. Just don't give the bulls any benefit of the doubt. If we've seen the same thing over and over again, be skeptical until they prove that this time is different. TLRY, rejected to the penny. As soon as I saw these rejections, I start exiting swing positions. I start lightening up in the sector. Exited some OGI today in the mid 260s. Again, we went straight up, for 6 days or so, 40% move in 6 days. I take some profit. And so we double topped to the penny on TLRY and pulled back. And we can very easily see TLRY just do a long tightening equilibrium through a good bit of April. And I talked about in the weekend video for the US side of things, got to be cautious because it's entirely possible that without a headline, we set weekly lower highs and tighten up a lot of April. And a big drop on MSOS at the end of the day. And it's a potential head and shoulders on the daily shaping up, where even if we hold the daily support of 877, we got to be cautious of that right shoulder forming. And again, all these individual names, a lot of them, Curaleaf, we can just very easily tighten up on the weekly charts into a good bit of April. So that's on the table for me in the cannabis sector. Again, I'm loving the volatility in these Canadian names, trading them. I wish I could trade them in both directions, but a bit limited. I got to see about getting on the hard to borrow list with my broker to get that going for these names. But watching for an hourly bounce on CGC and an hourly lower high. And again, just establish your game plans. Don't be surprised if we tighten up in the absence of a headline, and we'll take it one day at a time. Bigger sectors, healthcare. Healthcare is extremely tight. So what can I say? Volatility is coming here without a doubt. Within the next week. When's the last time we've been this tight? Let's look back. Quick glance. It's been years. It's been years since we've been this tight. So I can look here. If I want to actually have some numbers behind that statement, I could say that we've been trading within this 1 week's range for 4 weeks, almost 5 weeks, with a less than 3% range. When's the last time that's happened? Again, I'm going back here. It hasn't happened in years. So pay close attention and watch to see the direction that it breaks. If it breaks bear, we look to weekly EMA 12 to see if that can hold. If it breaks bull, we look to all-time highs to be tested. Financial sector, pretty decent pullback on the daily, but anything above 40.37 is a higher low. We've been holding daily EMA 12 for 6 weeks at this point. It's still holding. If I'm a bear, I would love to see a daily higher low and then give me a chance at a lower high to see a downtrend try and confirm. But clear pullback today. IWM also pulling back in a tightening range. I'm just viewing this. There's little bounces in here, but my brain just instantly goes tightening range. That's just what I see in markets because they're so common. So we scout a daily high or low, and we look for things to tighten up in the next week, keeping in mind this Friday is a holiday, Good Friday. So only a 4-day trading week. Inside bar, but still in consolidation mode at the moment. Relative strength this morning, faded. Little bit of an inverse relationship with semiconductors. I've noticed some tag team type of action where, IWM had strength in the morning, semiconductors were a bit weaker, and then they just did this all day. Just a slow shift. Dollar. Keep an eye on the dollar. This weekly equilibrium is going to break soon. Had a bearish reaction to the FOMC into a V-shaped bounce. If you are bullish, markets or crypto or commodities, you really want to see a failure to get over 105 and for this to break bear, but bulls are in control in the short term. We'll see how long they're able to maintain the daily uptrend. But that tightening weekly range is very likely to break sometime in April. It's a sad movie, right? Sometimes in April. Gold. So gold is reminding me of this back here. We had this quick spike up into a blue sky breakout and then gave it all back. And we did the same thing. Bulls want to try and avoid a head and shoulders. Just keep holding daily EMA 12. If not, we're going to zoom out and look for some bigger picture consolidation. At that point, we'll start to have to be cautious of a rising wedge. Not worried about a rising wedge just yet, but lose daily EMA 12. I'm going to start paying attention to it. It all depends on how that dollar breaks. Silver didn't really do much today. Oil, grinding up, watching for a monthly lower high still. I would not be surprised at all if we're talking about a monthly equilibrium in oil in, towards the end of Q2. set a monthly lower high sometime in the next 6 weeks, pull back for a couple of months, try and set a higher low. Next thing you know, we're into July. All right, that's it. A lot of volatility out there. Certainly nice for day trading. Broader market still keeping control for the bulls. Definitely watching the daily uptrends to be a full bull control guide. Loving the volatility in crypto. I mean, every day I sit at the computer as a day trader and know that I'm either trading cannabis or crypto stocks or semiconductors. Aside from those three things, I don't need anything as a day trader. We'll see how long that lasts. Hope you're well. Do good things. We're going live tomorrow. Lori's live publicly tomorrow morning. So make sure and check that out. It'll be posted on our YouTube. And of course, do good things. Quickie garden update. We got our first purple asparagus coming up for the season. I'll be eating asparagus a lot over the next month. Joey's helping me replace the beds that are rotting. So we've got 3 replaced so far. New rhubarb coming up. Some greens from over the winter, letting those flower. Planted a bunch of little onions just sporadically in different beds. This is all garlic from the fall. Peas just starting to come up. Got to put a trellis here. Planted some greens in this bed. They haven't come up yet. Got to fill this out. Put cardboard over it to stamp out the chickweed. Potatoes in there, not coming up yet. Potatoes and onions. And did beets and carrots in this bed. Hopefully this wood will last a few years. It's untreated. I put a natural stain on it. But this stuff certainly rotten out after 4 years. And that's the update.